Open it.
Oh. Welcome back to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. What is? You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show.
Could we get hair and makeup? Oh, here we go. The chef is just going. No. God.
So as you can see, we brought our chef here into Montecito. He is from the Maldives, not to be confused with the Maldives. And so he's here cooking up a storm for us. Crackers. So anyway, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed yesterday's episode, last week's episode.
Yesterday's.
Hopefully you enjoyed the episode just in general. And hopefully you go back and you like and you
Follow,
Facebook and you follow. And you say hollow, and you say holler, and you find us on Instagram at Do It Like Danny Show, and on TikTok. Everyone loves TikTok.
What happened to Do It Like Danny.da?
Well, do.it.like.danny still exists.
Oh.
And you can go there and like that too, but
That's his personal page. So we just switched it so we have our own show.
yeah,
okay.
but I mean, it's something not so personal because people still go there also too. I know. I guess we should have kept that as a joke, right?
So we can follow you on Facebook?
Oh yeah. What am I on Facebook?
I don't have Facebook.
Do I have a Do It Like Danny Show on Facebook? I gotta look and see.
If you do, we need to update that
Yes.
tomorrow.
Well, considering
Like
them put anything on there, I think I would actually agree with you. But if you're on the talk, which hopefully you are, I know Angelo's not, but it's okay. We'll get in there eventually.
The show's been canceled.
All we have to say is go look at yourself. But Louis, you had asked me a question last episode, and your question, so we can remind everybody, we were talking about
Pride Night
relationships. We were talking about Pride Night. We were talking about how Universal and Disneyland, the succubus Disneyland, is taking all of our money.
Correct.
And yet we're like, yay, right? And how I was appreciative of Universal's transparency by not, sucking every dime out of us. Whether they are or whether they are not, they did a really good job my last visit that I went. And you had said...
While we were at Disneyland, did me bringing a camera and a microphone, did it make the night feel a little bit more pressure because you had to feel like you were on?
For gay night.
Yeah, did that play any effect into how you were like, oh, well, the night just didn't turn out how I wanted it to?
I think I wanted to really impress you. This is so much fun. This is how I live my life, and this is what I do.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting part. I think I put too much thought into it. And I think I killed it. I definitely overthought it, right? I should have just let it be what it was.
Yeah.
Which is what it was the first time that we went, right? Sometimes
In the
planning.
moment.
Yeah, sometimes planning isn't it.
Yeah.
It did sound like those birds just got shot. What just happened? I heard birds, and then I heard a... I mean, oh my God, they're going to kill someone. Oh my God, that's quite a few birds.
Louis shot.
Welcome to Montecito.
Yep.
Oh my God, they're so angry. So I think I planned it too much. I think I thought that, the way that it was going to turn out was the way it was going to be better. And it didn't turn out that way. It did not turn out that way.
You were in your head too much. And sometimes when we do that, it spoils the broth.
Yes.
Right? So it's like New Year's Eve. We're all pumped up. Oh, we're going to go have a great time. We're going to get drunk. We're going to have a great... And it falls flat.
Yeah. It falls flat.
So instead of that, just be in the moment.
Instead of I shouldn't have planned anything. We should just showed up and been like, it is what it is. But I was like, we're going to have the alcohol. We're going to this. And it was just too much work for all those people.
I mean, I had fun, but I understand where you were coming from because I was there and there wasn't really a plan. We were just kind of moseying. And that was fine. I was just there to get some footage. I was there to spend some time and just see, again, who some of your friends were. Nice to meet them. And I also wanted to see what the vibe was like. I've never been to any Pride Night. I'd never been to a gay night of all. You know what I mean? The night before that, or 2 nights before that, we had gone to my first gay club with Angela,
right.
and
And
that
I
was
was
fun.
not part of that conversation when you guys recapped.
Well, don't worry, Angela. We'll come back to that.
I will talk about
We'll
that.
come back to that.
But I am curious because we all got to see Jared
Yes.
for the first time, and I'm not talking Jared, Subway Jared. Yeah, let the aerosol kick in.
Come on.
Under pressure, honey? Are we feeling a little under pressure?
No pressure. I mean, listen. Now, looking back upon it, and I know that we touched upon this in the show also too. I'm at a different place in my life.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm just. I'm further along in terms of the emotion. Like for me and Jared, there is no more emotional attachment. However, I will always be thankful of the experiences that I was able to experience with him, for lack of a better word. And what that means is, we were each other's first. I'm assuming we were each other's first. No, he was my first. And so that sentiment never goes away. With your first, you will always remember, you will always have. There are special moments that you're never going to be able to duplicate with future relationships.
Correct.
You may try to, again, plan, but to fortify your point. Once you're in your head, point becomes moot.
Yeah.
And I guess I wanted Jared to be in that same space too. And, when we were together, we were very young. And listen, on both sides, arrows were thrown, right?
Yeah.
I've just moved on.
Yeah.
And apparently he hasn't moved on. And that's okay. Whenever he feels the need, listen, I was on the fence. I kind of wanted to reach out to him and be like, hey, I ran into you. Why didn't you say hi to me? Because in my mind, I was actually excited to run into him, right? Because in my mind, there are those stolen moments where, hey, man, it's good to run into you. It was good seeing you. And I'm past it, but apparently he's not. And I don't want to say he's holding on. I don't know what his mental mind is right now.
We can only assume based off what we had in the video. Yeah.
I mean, listen, he could have been with his current boyfriend or husband or whatever and felt that may have been, by acknowledging me would have impeded upon the relationship. I mean, we could go left and right and right and left and up and down for hours, right?
Yeah.
We're never going to know unless we talk to him. When we first started the show, I did have a conversation with him because I think out of respect, I wanted to let him know that I was going to talk about him. And that went south in the beginning. He became old Jared, right?
We haven't talked about that.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, we haven't talked. You told me. Just share
Inquiring
this.
minds want to know.
You told me we would never talk about that because it wasn't worth bringing up. You wouldn't give it the time of day.
And here we are.
Because of what was said.
But it wasn't bad. That's so weird. Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
You need to record me when I say these things. Poor David. David's that bitch.
But what I find so interesting is when you look back and you think about how intimate and how important that relationship was in your life.
Oh my God.
At the time, right? So you would think life would soften the hurt, the feelings or whatever of remorse or whatever, and that you guys could acknowledge each other at this phase in your life and be like, wow, we've been 30 years have passed. You're here now. Here we are. But that wasn't the case.
And that wasn't the case. We still run into each other. And I know, listen, if I were to reach out to him, yes, we would have a conversation. But I think maybe going back to fortify your point, I just felt like we've already passed it. Why do I have to restate my opinion? And why can't we just move forward? Right?
Correct.
If I'm willing to forgive and forget the cheating aspect and he's willing to forgive and forget what you were a crazy bitch, then, right? Cool, let's move forward. But there's still probably some hurt there. There's obviously the harboring of some sort of feelings. What feelings? I'm not sure. I don't know. So to rewind even further, when we first started the show, as I said before, I could have sworn I thought we talked about this. And, I actually reached out to Jared to out of respect, right? Because, stupid me, I respect everybody. And I said, hey, we're going to talk about you. And then, of course, episode 1, he kind of got like all crazy.
That's what I'm
and
saying,
was
yeah.
like, you know, I hire lawyers for this. And I was like, whatever. It was a lot of bark.
Oh.
Jared's
Yeah.
a lot of bark. Love him to death until the day I die because he was my first. But bark, 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 bark.
Yeah, you were not very impressed with the response.
I
because
wasn't impressed.
he came out too hard, and you're like, well, Jared, this was my experience. I'm not taking away from what you have to say or
Yeah.
how you feel.
And-
I'm just explaining my side. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always right or I'm 100% correct, but this is what I went through. This is my experience, and this is how I felt. And apparently...
He let
Yeah.
me have it. He was like, you're wrong, and blah, blah, blah. But I will say this. What was interesting is that he called me. And he called me via Facebook, right? And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll pick up the phone, right? Like, and he let me have it. Like, you're wrong. I was gay. And like all these things came out, right? And I was like, and I stopped for a minute. I really listened. And I stopped for a minute and I said, Jared, we've never had a conversation like this.
Yes, yeah.
We weren't adult enough to have conversations like this. Now that I know your position, now that you know where I'm coming from, like I would have thought in that moment it would have healed something, but apparently not. Because now fast forward, here we are.
How long has it been?
Oh my God,
30
like
years.
30 years.
Yeah.
For sake,
Yeah.
30 years.
So when you saw him, I don't know when the last time you saw him was, but when you
30 years ago.
Okay. So when you saw him, did you? I know you recognized him, but
Oh, absolutely.
but did he live up to that expectation of what you thought he would look like at this age?
He kind of looks similar, just a little chunkier.
Okay,
Similar.
okay,
I mean, listen,
all
we
right,
all gained
yep,
weight.
yeah.
He definitely like we all age in here.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah.
But
No, you have, honey. You have.
He also used to have a full head of hair. Now he seems like he shaves it. He used to have like a flowing wave of hair before,
Yeah.
and now it seems like he shaves it down to
and
the...
he was salt and pepper, whereas I shoe polish. But, you know, listen, I don't think there was an aesthetic thing there. I think I'm basing it on energy.
Of course.
And the
yeah,
reason
yeah.
why I feel like I will always have a connection with Jared is because of the way that it went down. Like, it was extremely innocent. There was no, like, oh, I'm going to, like, try to bag this boy and vice versa. It wasn't like anything like that. I mean, I didn't know how to kiss. Like, it was like a whole, like, coming of age thing. I was
Yeah.
Bridgerton. I was Bridgerton before Bridgerton was Bridgerton.
But it's such a special moment in your life, and I guess to have it not sullied, but kind of what a disappointment at this point, right? That he can't even acknowledge you.
Well, so it's interesting you say that. So, like, I thought about that also, too, because for a moment there, I was like, what? Right? Like,
Yeah, well,
really?
in
Like-
the video, you turn me around, and you're like, that's Jared. And
Yeah.
he didn't fucking say anything to me.
yeah, I was like, really? Because I guess, again, we're in two different places.
Yeah, that's exactly
and
what
I
it
only
is.
hope that he can eventually move forward and move on and not harbor whatever he's harboring
Right.
because it's been 30
Yeah,
years.
get over it.
I mean, if I'm still like, fuck you, Jared, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally,
Yep,
I will
no
speak for
growth.
myself. I would say that's a problem.
Yeah.
No growth.
There's no
Very
growth
little
there.
growth,
And I
yeah.
only hope that whenever, maybe in his relationship, I hope that they grow. I hope whatever happens, it flourishes. But, I mean, he's no longer a part of my life. But I would have thunk at some point there would have been an acknowledgement. The
Yeah.
interesting part is, and I say this out to everybody, deep inside, if I were to message him and say, hey, can we meet? I know that he would. And he probably would lie and say, that's a lie, I would never. But I know he would.
Is he in L.A.?
I think.
Well, he has to be if he's going to Disneyland.
Well, no,
no,
he could be
I
in
think,
Orange County.
I think he's in Orange County, whether
Oh.
Irvine
Yeah,
or San
yeah.
Diego, because I know Rachel, I think, ran into him one time, and he didn't notice her, but she noticed him. I mean, we know who he is because he
Yeah.
was in my family for
Of
so
course,
long.
yeah.
I mean,
Dude, he used to live at your mom's house. Also, did you bring this up to your mom? Did you tell your mom?
yes.
How did she feel about
So
that?
my mom said this. My mom goes, I'm surprised that he didn't acknowledge you. She goes, but I'm also not surprised.
Wow.
You know, and that's kind of like, that's Jared's thing. He was really kind of like, not vindictive. What's a good word? He just, if he didn't want to be bothered,
Write you off real quick.
he would write you off very quick, which
it.
I'm also like that too. But at this old age, I'm like,
You're like, it's different now. Yeah.
it's different now
time.
because I want to focus energy into other things. Like, again, if I ran into Jared, like I actually took energy and put it into him, like, oh my God, hey, right? In my mind, I was like, oh great, here we go. That's what you get from the Maldives. Look it from the Maldives. That's what you get from the chef from the Maldives. Fire.
Am I good now?
You're good.
Okay,
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. That was perfect. Live.
It's Saturday night.
He's going with us on the yacht next week. We love him. Thank you. I'll
Below
take
deck.
extra char. I'll take the burnt. I love burnt, just so you know.
Grampy loved the burnt.
I love the
Grampy
burnt.
loved burnt.
Our grandfather
So
loved
did
the
my
burnt.
great grandmother. She would eat burnt toast and be like, "It's good for your liver." Now I don't know how true that is, but she
Yeah.
would say that.
Literally fired. Yeah. I mean, it's on the other side of it too. Is now there's sayings that like it's a carcinogen.
Yeah.
Like if you like, it's like it's bad for you. But like everything is bad for you. I mean, for fuck's sakes. I mean, everybody's like, I only eat this. It's like you're all gonna end up in the same fucking box. What did you give yourself? 5 extra minutes?
Well, you guys told me to come out and say I'm drinking again.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna come out as gay again.
Again.
Speaking of
stopped.
life changes.
Yeah. But so again, does that spoil? And I know there was like some weird energy in between, but does that spoil the memory for you with Jared? It's like, God, you can't even as an adult acknowledge me that we're at different places in our lives. And here I am.
Great question, and no, because I will always remember there was bad, but there was also very good moments with Jared.
Of course.
There were actually great
That's what I'm
moments with
saying.
Jared.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
I think those were the moments that only I will probably ever witness. I don't know if he's ever showed that to others. And that's my power. Deep inside, I know how good of a person that he can be, although he presents this shell of like, I'm a badass, I'm going to sue you, whatever. Go bark at somebody else's tree because it doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me. And that's part of getting older.
Also, that's putting a lot of negative energy back into something that, again, ended 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So you keep
I
the
mean-
positivity
Yeah, of
with it,
course.
and you, again, come out the better, I won't say better person, because, again, we don't know what he's going through.
Correct,
But you
yeah.
come out, on the other side rather than harboring it.
I think, and maybe this is also a bad way to put it, but like I feel healthier.
Yeah.
I feel healthier
Lighter.
knowing that happened and everything that went down. Remember, I was the first to go, oh my God, Jared, right?
And we have it on
And we went on camera, and he ignored
Ran.
it, and
Yeah.
he ran.
Well, he
ran.
scooted. He had a little
scooted. He had like a
Wendy
little scooter.
Williams.
He had like a little thing, and he like he hightailed it out of there.
Oh.
And so, I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, I ever ran into, like, listen, I will always love Jimmy. Jimmy's like, everyone loved Jimmy.
Yeah,
right?
imagine if you
Jimmy.
did that to
Yeah,
Jimmy.
yeah.
That'd be wild.
Never do that to Jimmy. And I also don't think that Jimmy would ever do it to me, too.
I wouldn't do that to Jimmy. I love Jimmy.
We all love Jimmy. And
Yeah.
also, too, like, my sisters love Jared. Like, we did, at one point, everybody
Yeah.
loved Jared. Bama loved Jared. She called him Roger.
Roger.
She's called him Roger. Like, he had a place in our family.
Sure.
Yeah.
So to go from, someone that had a place in your family to now it's a Hard Knocks life, orphan Annie, you know what I mean? I'm cutting that bitch out. It's like, never forget where you came from.
Yeah.
And he should be very thankful because my mother put up with a lot. My mom put up with a lot. There's so
Again,
much more.
Check out season 1. We go through this.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Jared's a big storyline in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a pivotal moment.
Yes, because I learned a lot about
Everything,
myself.
yeah.
I learned
I
a
would say
lot.
everything.
So that's why, like, I look at it now. I think if I were 19, and I think if we were in the same answering these same questions, I think I would sound like I fucking hated him and I burned my Lisa Frank sticker collection, right?
Oh, you would have thrown the phone across the pool.
Exactly. I would have been like, fuck yeah, I hate you. But at this point, it's like, why am I going to waste that energy?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't serve anybody.
But you don't feel that way.
No,
yeah.
I don't, because it's been 30
But
years.
it shows a growth in you,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
I have a tumor. How did you know?
So I've been fortunate enough to have really good relationships with my exes, and there hasn't been a lot. But and so, I guess there's that expectation that you can have that.
Yes.
I know, Louis, for you,
Can I
it
share?
has not been
Can I share?
that case.
I don't have any good relationships with any of my exes. I'm not a good breaker.
Are you Jared?
Okay, so I would say when I was younger, definitely harbored like a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
I would say probably in the last, since I turned 30, my life has changed a lot, gone through a lot of changes. But the one thing I've never been able to do is when something ends, it ends. And I don't revisit it. It's not that I hate the person. Maybe, again, when I was younger, I hated you. But if I saw my ex right now, I probably would just let it be because we didn't end on great terms. And she deserves to be angry at me. I wasn't the best person to her sometimes. Was she the best person to me? No. But we had our moments where we were the best for each other at times. But I do envy some people that can be friends with their exes. I can't. I've never been able to. I just cut it off at the neck and I kind of continue.
Well, I think now that I've gotten older, like I'm friends with Jimmy. Like we all love Jimmy. I love Jimmy to the day I die. I harbor no negativity at all whatsoever. And we spent a lot of time together. And again, he's pivotal in my life. We did some amazing things together. So I focus on that. You know, and the thing with Jimmy was there really wasn't a lot of negativity. I mean, I'm a lot to deal with, you know, shockingly enough. And so that might have been the reason why he was like so quick to be like, I'm fucking out of here. You know what I mean? When I presented it like we should split. I also think that at some point when you're with someone, they have to be at your level in terms of emotion. And I don't think Jimmy will ever be there at that level of emotion. While it's not a negative, I'm just a very emotional person.
It's just different level energy.
It's a different level, and I don't fault him for that at all whatsoever. I cry at the drop of a hat. I'm emotional. Some people look at emotion as weakness.
It's not.
And some people don't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like potato. It's what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
So it just depends, you know, but I could never see myself hating Jimmy at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you be able to say that Jimmy was probably one of the longer, more mature relationships you've been able to have in your life?
Yes.
And the fact that you guys were able to still remain friends afterwards says a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that shows maturity, right? It's because a lot of people have to tear down a partner or boyfriend, an ex or a girlfriend or whatever in order to feel like you can move forward, right?
Yeah.
So you beat them down to the point where they're just nothing, as opposed to just really respecting where they were at in your life and what importance they had and being able to move on from that and still have some relationship.
Yeah.
It's not that, but I get it. 90% of the people can't do that.
Yeah. Well,
It's
because
hard.
they're
It's
holding
hard.
on to all that negativity, you know, again, going back to the Jared thing, it's like, listen, if I wanted to be tit for tat, yeah, I could. But again, I wasn't an angel either.
You were young, though.
But I was young, exactly. I made a fuckload of mistakes. And I promised myself in my
Not to
next
repeat,
relationship that I wouldn't try to out the person, that I wouldn't do. I guess that's why Jared, going back to use your words, was so pivotal and will always be monumental in my timeline. Because I learned a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And those mistakes that I made with Jared, I didn't try to continue into the next relationship. And the ones that I learned from Jimmy, I won't carry on into the next relationship. And so that's kind of how it works out. You know, I promised when I was with Jimmy that I wasn't going to try to out him. You know, I let him do his own thing on his own. I never made that a pinnacle, a point where I'm not going to be with you if you don't tell your parents, you know, which is kind of what I did to Jared. I was like, if you don't come out, I'm going to tell them. And it was, you know, but I was so young. I was, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Like, it's different now. If I were to act that way now, oh my God.
As an adult?
Fucking
Yeah.
immature
Yeah.
of me. Like,
Yeah.
it's idiotic. I mean, I could never see myself doing that. I would never try to out somebody at all whatsoever.
Isn't it funny, though, to kind of look back and be like, God, that was so stupid?
Oh, I did a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. Like I said, the environment was full.
Yeah, yeah.
But we had never, I had never been in that kind of a relationship. I had never been in, it was my first relationship, you know. My first love was food. And let me see how that worked out.
See, I always had the problem of breaking up with somebody. I don't like to be the villain, but I also don't like to be the one with the heart broken. So in fear, I would always end up making myself the villain when I didn't necessarily need to. I always created more problems for myself because of my low self-esteem and, you know, issues with my parents and their marriage and all that kind of shit. And it just always played a role into that. And you kind of learned. And, yeah, it's always kind of something like that for me.
But that's life experience,
Yeah.
right? We learn from our experiences and hopefully we grow from them and we mature and we don't carry those not negative moments, but we don't carry we don't carry those things that don't work into other relationships.
Yeah.
We learn from them. Because I know when I look back, and I'm still very good friends with the person that I was in a relationship with in my 20s, and I think about some of the things that I did, and it's like, oh my God, and you still are friends with me? And I'm talking about like a major pot through a window. I threw a pot through a window, a flower pot. And yet, you know, when I think about it, I am horrified and embarrassed that I did that. But that was the immaturity that I had at that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Jared threw a brick at my car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so yeah, so we do shit like that.
But I'm going to think about all that. You know, you're like,
He loves me.
right?
I had an ex-girlfriend pull the steering wheel. I was on the freeway one time because we were in a fight.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she almost killed us. But another story to be told.
So those are
we
the
had
things
plenty
that
of those, but I was also very, very young.
Yeah.
Very, very young.
Yeah.
But
well, she was younger than I was, and this was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. But
oh shit!
was last month.
Well, we need to move this forward.
Yeah. She was the one who hit
need
you,
to
by
move
the
this
way. on
forward.
this is a
Ventura.
different ex, but yeah.
So the
Oh,
reason
God,
why
yeah.
I said earlier, I said my first relationship with love was with foods, because my next thing was going to be about weirdos. Right?
Speaking of food, we have our private chef cooking
Oh,
us
that's
up.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks angry. Chefy, are we ready?
No.
All right, perfect.
But-
All right,
no,
we're almost
but-
ready.
no.
So pizza. Your
Pizza.
love.
Ooh.
Our
Cousin Louie.
favorite, and I say our because you turned me on to this place.
Yes, I did.
Weirdos, and I hope you send this clip to them.
Okay.
Weirdos.
They're going to laugh.
Out of the blue, posts on Instagram saying that they are no longer going to be operating out of Vivian's,
Correct.
Oh.
which has ties to Leah Remini. And you said, I messaged you.
Correct.
And I immediately said, I bet you Leah Remini. It's her fault. Of course, it's all hearsay.
Yes, we don't know.
Leah, please don't send your lawyers. I have 5 cents. Fucking sue me. Okay, thank you.
She's going to send a few
But
Scientologists.
thank you, right? I'm going to send Scientology back to her, okay? Bitch, you better get back on it.
Oh, man.
And so Weirdos makes an amazing pizza. And for those of you that don't know, if you have followed, if you've ever been in the Valley and you had an opportunity to eat their pizza, it's fucking delicious. Well, although I can't say it's like New York style, I would
New
say
Jersey.
it's the best in the Valley.
Correct.
Personally, compared to like Prince Street, which is like, you know, greasy. And,
Which I hate.
Yeah, we could go on and on. And think of the other ones, right? Although Joe Peeps is pretty good, but Weirdos is better. The negative to Weirdos is they were only open Friday
and
and Saturday.
Oh.
Right? And then Sunday too, or no?
It's depending, like if the Super Bowl Sunday was on,
Got it, yeah.
they would be
So
open.
they were only open 2 days a week, which kind of sucked. Because, you know, what if you want pizza on a Monday? There's still Monday Night Football, isn't there?
Yeah.
Figure that out, Weirdos. And so I follow them on Instagram, and when Papa Vin announced that they would no longer be operating, we're so sorry that it's so sudden.
Sudden, yeah.
It was very sudden, which again, right away, my little bells and whistles were like, Leah, 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 right? Because I know Angelo, and I mean,
Not
I know
me.
Angelo. Yeah, not you. Angelo is Leah's husband. Excuse me, I had too much Jameson. And he's as a likable and affable human being, right? Love Leah, but the character she plays, I'm sure she's a very nice person on the side. I've seen bits and pieces, but I also know that she can cut a bitch. Right? So Papa Vin, we hope you didn't get cut.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very interesting that they announced, or he announced on there saying, what did they say?
Any of the pizza that was sold prior to them moving had no affiliation with them, which I thought was also very interesting.
Not prior, after.
Or
right?
after, excuse me.
Yeah, after.
So let me do that again. Any pizza that was sold after their move had no affiliation with Weirdos, and I found that to be a very interesting thing to post, considering they'd never said that before.
So now it's like drama,
Yeah,
right?
like what's going on?
Who knew pizza had drama, right? Who knew? So, we're now wondering, well, number one, I mean, Papa Vin, it was time to get a brick and mortar. I'm just saying, right? I mean, you could
Where were they? I've been to Vivian's many times. Where were they?
They were in the back.
in the back.
in the like
Only
in
on
the
Friday
back
and Saturday.
patio?
Mm-hmm. Before that, they were attached to a tire shop, which I always thought was weird. And it was kind of like if you knew what it was and you knew where it was, then you knew.
You were in.
It's almost like it was like a speakeasy for pizza.
You're like, why am I getting pizza out of this like garage?
Yeah, and you would text them and they would come out and they would hand it to you. And apparently before that, I guess cause she told me this, I think it was out of their apartment.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. And that's how it started off. Then they went to the tire shop. And then after that, the tire shop, they went to Vivian's. And I thought they would be there for a while, except now we know they're not.
Yeah. Well, also, too, so with the original location, the automotive one was on Lancashire, right?
Yes.
That became a Cane's.
Oh, really? The whole thing's gone.
That's where they
So,
were
which
at.
brings me to my next thing. So, wait, let me put a pin in that one. So, Papa Vin, I know you don't know who I am, but the reason why I am a big fan of Weirdos is because of my cousin Lewis, and I would get pizza with him all the time. Love it, love brick style, love the fucking, what's the garlic one with no marinara?
Oh,
There's
that's the Bianca.
Oh, the Bianca,
With the mushrooms,
delicious.
yeah.
Loved every single moment of those pizzas. Even would buy them and freeze them.
It freezes so fucking good.
It freezes very well, right? So we hope that you have a brick and mortar. And for those of you that are watching it live in the Valley, and if you don't live in the Valley, fuck it. As soon as go to Instagram and follow Weird Does. I think there's only one D though, right? Weirdos.
I'll post it. Don't worry.
Louis will post it. Follow them. They need support because Leah has struck again. But we don't know for sure. We don't know. I'm just being dramatic. I mean dramatic.
Poor Leah.
Yeah, poor Leah. All right. So going back to Cane's, have you guys ever been to Cane's?
Raising Cane's, right?
Raising Cane's.
Correct. I actually have it once.
Okay, have you been to
No,
Raising
but
Cane's?
I see them all over now.
So for those of you who don't know, Raising Cane's is like a chicken finger and french fry place, right?
Correct.
I don't mean to like, dumb it down, but that's all that they sell. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Basically a Chick-fil-A with toast. Because
Yes.
you get a piece of toast with your chicken fingers and fries,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I had my client the other night, and I was like, well, it's warm. I don't want to go home and cook because, I love to cook, but it gets really hot. And I'm like, do I want to go up to the roof and grill something and then bring it down? I wasn't feeling well because I'm on the cusp of, sickness. Thank you, Jameson's, for relieving my AIDS. I mean, my ailments, my ailments. That sounds horrible. And so I happened to be in the area and said, oh, you know what? And I drove by and there was no line.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that as a sign from the food gods, go, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I pull in. It's not a very well-designed system to get into the one on Burbank.
I've never been to that one.
You start on the outer ring, and then you go the inner ring, and then to get outside, you have to cross over the two rings.
Oh, that's so weird.
It's really weird. And then their parking lot to get in it's basically one way.
Yeah.
So if you're in, you can't get out, and so like a team member from the restaurant has to come out, remove cones to help you get out. It's really a process. It's almost too much, right? It's just chicken and fries
And bread.
and toast. Toast. Don't get it wrong, Lou. It's toast.
Sorry.
So I'm in line, and so I don't know. So I only have Chick-fil-A to compare in this realm. Every time you go to Chick-fil-A, yes, I know it's hate food. That's what Jurgen calls it. But you know what? I go there. Yes, I know they hate gays, but who doesn't? So
Carl's Jr. doesn't.
they do. If you buy zucchini, the zucchinis that they buy are from a nonprofit that supports anti-gay measures.
Shit,
okay,
you went
the
down the
Thank
rabbit
you.
hole
Yeah.
on that one.
Oh, there's
Better
more to
than
go
you.
down.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, anyway, going back to Chick-fil-A, I will say this. I have never had a Chick-fil-A employee that was in a bad mood.
Okay.
Oh.
They're always cordial. They're always nice. And even when the first time I went to Hate Food Filet, I said, I've never been here before. What would you recommend? Oh, my God, we have this. And they just read the menu off. And as busy as Chick-fil-A was, the gentleman that waited on me the very first time was so helpful. And I was like, oh, my God, great. Thank you so much. And, I felt, confident that I had ordered something amazing and great, right?
Yes.
And then when you get it home, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. It's not terrible, right? It's pretty good. And they have good shakes, too, at Chick-fil-A. So I go to Cane's, and I say the same thing to the girl. First of all, she looked like I'm only here because it's either court appointed or my mommy and daddy cut me off from the barrel of oil, and I have to work here in order for me to get, right? Because she literally didn't even look at me. And she's like, hi, what can I get for you? And I was like, oh, I've never been here before. And she's like, how many pieces of chicken do you want? And I'm like, well, what do they come? And she's like, she tells me the different ones, right? Never even looked at me. And I said, oh, well, do you have shakes? No shakes. We have lemonade, iced tea, and sweet tea. Okay, great. So I got 3 chicken fingers. I got French fries and the toast. Well, while she was putting it all in, she whacked with her little machine. She whacked my mirror. And I was like,
Oh, whoa.
she didn't acknowledge it or anything.
Wow.
So I was
Bentley?
I was already like, not the Bentley, okay? Not the Bentley. It's on loan from Mrs. Osborne. Leah. So anyway, who can't even lend out a pizza oven? Thank you, Mrs. O, for the use of the Bentley. Leah. Anyway, so I was like, I was like, I don't like it here. And then to go through all the drama, so of course I get to the window, I get my food, and I'm like, he's like, what's your name? Not like, hi, or there was no niceties at all whatsoever. It was turn and burn. These kids, and I say kids, they look like, they're getting $20 an hour.
Yeah, now they are.
I'm so sorry, but I would at least expect you to be like, hi, how are you? Hello. Something.
Basic.
I'm not asking you to fucking tap dance and juggle for
Yeah.
me while you're in line, but at least be cordial.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I want a tap dance and a
Oh,
good
look at you. Vineland and Sherman Way.
Yes.
And so I called my friend, Javier, and I was like, I just had the worst experience at Cane's. And he's like, girl, take the chicken home and eat it. It's going to change your mind. And I was like, okay. So I get home with my toast and my chicken. Of course, I had to put it back in the toaster oven because it got cold.
It got cold, yeah.
It's fine, whatever, it's a big deal. I toasted the chicken, I put the toast in, I toasted the fries, and I ate them. They were delicious. The chicken was moist, but the chicken fingers weren't like...
They're not to die for, right?
They weren't to die for, and they're like cane sauce, which is like coveted. Like,
Yeah.
they ask you, if you want extra cane sauce, it's going to cost you extra. And you're like, okay, bitch, I never even tried the first time. Like, what is your problem, right? They're like so crazy about this like cane
Oh,
sauce.
jeez.
And so I took it home and I was like,
It's whatever.
I'll have barbecue sauce. I had Ken's. I'm going to take a
Oh,
picture
yeah.
so Louis can show you
Yep.
my
Okay.
refrigerator. I only use Ken's. I don't know Hidden Valley or Hidden Ranch. I only know Ken's. Ken's is my #1 dressing that I go to every single time. And I want you to do this, and I want you to,
And
we're
they
going
are
to
a
post it.
sponsor.
I got to try it.
We're going to tag them.
Okay.
So this is a photo of my refrigerator because I love Ken's. I literally have every flavor on my door in Ken's. And if I go to a party, I only bring Ken's.
Bring Ken's. Okay, now I got to try Ken's.
You gotta try Ken's. They have and what's crazy on the East Coast, they have a tartar sauce and a cocktail sauce.
Oh, wow.
But it's only available on the East Coast. It's
Got it.
only available on the East Coast. Ken's.
Does Ken's, is that the one that makes the honey mustard?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I've had their honey mustard. I got to try the barbecue sauce.
delicious.
That honey mustard is fire.
Yep.
I
Their
love
food's
that.
delicious. So I was kind of like, not really impressed, right?
Yes.
Whatever.
I didn't know chickens had fingers.
They do when they chop them up. So now fast forward the next day for my mom's birthday, I wanted to get some cupcakes. So I found out about this place from my friend Linda. And the name of the place is called Deja Vu Cupcakes, right? So Austin!
Where's our chef?
Where's our chef?
Could we get our chef out here?
Austin!
We don't want him shirtless, though.
Can you bring the cupcakes? So the next day I went to this place that my friend Linda had recommended and I tasted before, and I'd never been there before. And I wanted to get the cupcakes for my mom's birthday, but I went on a Monday and they were closed.
Okay.
Oh, God, I really want these so bad. So I went back the next day. No, I didn't go back until 4th of July, and they were open, right?
I almost bought some today. I just want you to know that.
the Deja Vu?
Yep, I almost went today to bring some.
Shut up.
I swear to God.
So I went in and I said, it's my first time here. I've never been here before, but I tasted your cupcakes. They were so lovely.
Yeah.
A lot of first.
They explained everything to me. They don't use any type of box cake mixers. He went over everything. They do gluten-free. They do all these different things, right? We're calling for you, chef. You're fired. And so I wanted to bring these so you guys could see. So again, deja vu. It's backwards. Whatever. You'll get over it. But look at these delicious cupcakes, right?
Ooh,
Those are
wow.
good.
So I will say this: they're expensive.
Yes.
They're about $6 to $7 a
Yeah.
piece. But
wow.
what I will say is, you only need like a quarter. These are like individual wedding cakes, practically. They make an ube. They do, or this is like, oh my God, so good. They do cheesecakes.
Oh, it looks so
And
good.
this is lemon almond cheesecake. And when I tell you, it's the best cheesecake that you've ever tasted. It's the best cheesecake that you've ever tasted in your entire life. I don't want
That
to
looks
share.
delicious. No, please, you've been sick.
They've got, yeah.
You're sick.
I'm so sick. I'm gonna cough it
Oh
home.
God, he
This
just
is
got
the mascarpone strawberry.
Ooh,
That looks good.
Oh my God, it's so
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Anywho,
I'm looking at the one with the Oreo. The one
you
with
ever
the
been to-
Oreo is kind of cool.
Sorry to mean to interrupt. Have you ever been to Crush Cakes in Santa Barbara?
no.
That one you should try and see how they compare. Crush Cakes is a place that I like to go to. And I'll
Crush
usually
Cakes.
bring like a dozen home and I
Oh,
eat them
wow.
all. Yeah.
Well, if you're in the area, you should go to Deja Vu Cupcakes because they're delicious. Thank you to Linda for turning me on to these little amazing little delicious explosions of flavor in my mouth.
It's kind of like a hidden store too in that little shopping
Yeah,
area.
it's off of Laurel Canyon and Riverside.
Yep.
So if you look it up and see, I'm trying not to give them too much love because, we want sponsors.
Yes.
But I will say this, again, going back to, I enjoyed that they were kind and they were nice, and I didn't mind spending my money because I got that, like, tap dance, if you will, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Canes. Looks like you're getting thumbs down this round. If you're a Canes management watching,
Boo.
boo, you need to step up your game
Yeah.
because I'd rather spend my money at Chick-fil-A, even though they hate us.
Yeah, that's saying a lot actually.
You're right, Louie. That does say a lot about where I want to spend my money. So unfortunately, thumbs down for you, Canes. But you know what we thumbs up? Do it like Danny. So with all of that being said, we'd love you to enjoy your week, your day, whatever. We'd love for you. I'm forgetting fucking prepositions in here. We'd love for you to enjoy your week, your day. Like us on Instagram, like us on TikTok, and always remember to do it like Danny.